A movie that serves as a gentle reminder that men are pretty much awful. Jamie?
Yeah.
Let's go watch Staying Alive.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Good Times, Great Movies. Here we are, like we are, to discuss our movie from the 80s. It is me, Jamie Lorello, here, as always, with a D.P. McCambridge.
That's right.
And you jazz handing it? Are you jazz handing? Sashaying, maybe. Sashaying your day away.
Sashaying?
Or what does he say? Maybe you're just gonna strut.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
First of all, John Travolta is a horrible character in this movie, right? Like, can we just agree on that? Like, he is kind of the villain. Like, I know that they almost want to paint, I'm going to call her Blossom's stepmom. Can we just call her Blossom's stepmom?
Let's call that. I call her the bitch in my notes. Yeah.
Yeah, I know they want to paint her as the villain, but he's a pretty rotten dude.
Now, did you see Saturday Night Fever?
Yes.
Because he makes apologies for himself. Is he nicer in this than he was in that?
No, he's kind of. It's Saturday night. Have you not seen it?
No.
First of all, I'd recommend it. It's like this movie, but 100 times better.
Yeah.
It's really just this movie. But in that movie, he's kind of a creep. He's like a horrible dude who hangs out with a bunch of horrible friends. Mm-hmm. And near the end of the movie, he's like, maybe these guys are jerks. Maybe I shouldn't be like them. And then he succeeds in dancing because he somehow becomes kind of a better person. And that is the plot of this movie.
He's not the most likable. There's moments when he's, you know.
First of all, he's charming. He's charming as anything. His pickup lines / pickup routines are great.
Oh, I've got lines from him written down. Yeah.
We should have written them down and we could have done
just gone through each,
Yes. Mm-hmm. But they're really great. But him as a possible romantic partner, like
he's too wishy-washy.
Yeah. Like at one point when he, is very angry at Finola Hughes, Blossom's stepmother, and he's like looking at her during that fancy party.
Oh, yeah.
In the back of my head, I knew this movie wasn't going to end this way, but I was like, is this a Star 80 thing going to happen?
Oh, he's going to murder.
Yes, he looked furious, and he would fly off the handle about guys she was seeing. It was
and
very
he was
strange.
mad about what's her name's guys too.
He was mad about Frank Stallone.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't even believe that because they had broken up, and Frank Stallone walked her there to, I guess, keep her safe in the big, scary city. And they show up, and Travolta's like, what the fuck is he doing here? Who's this guy? Oh, he's a guitar player. That's terrible.
Oh,
Those
yeah,
guys are the
rhythm
worst.
guitar. It's the worst.
What?
Yeah.
He is a very bizarre character. And I think we see by the end, he really, I don't want to say he hasn't changed much, but at the end of the show, he doesn't celebrate with his cast. He doesn't celebrate with his girlfriend because it's all about Tony. It's like, got to be like my
He doesn't even celebrate with his mom, his sweet mom who made it down there.
Right.
He doesn't care. No, he eats her pie, 2 pieces of it, but
I was waiting for him to like see his mom outside or something, but no. I like how his mom is bragging to all the extras sitting out there about her son.
Yeah. And I like that they're not sure how to react. Some of them are nodding, but some of them are rolling their eyes like, are we supposed to care?
Yeah, there's a woman behind her that's looking around like, what is this? What's happening?
Yeah.
Here? And the guy she's next to is like, that's right, girl. It's your son.
So this movie kind of eases us into Slicegiving, doesn't it? Because it's written
you know what?
and directed.
I kind of regret because it could have been like our frosting on our Sly's Giving cake. After we've gone through all the movies he was in, we could have done this as a final Sly's Giving. But
well, this is a lovely frosting on your birthday cake, because let's remind everyone, this is your birthday pick.
Yeah.
And tell us why, again, you made this decision, because you kind of shared it with me, and I hope that what you shared with me is what you're going to share with everybody else. But if not, go ahead. Why did you choose this?
Now I'm wondering what I told you. I'm not sure why I chose this.
Well,
there's a couple reasons. First of all, I have been having other than a couple times, a singingist, dancingist birthday on this podcast.
Yeah. La-di-da.
I feel like I chose Xanadu because I heard it was such a terrible movie, and it sort of let me down. I know that you and our special guest episode loved it. But then I found a little movie called Can't Stop the Music.
And it can't stop the music in your heart. Yeah.
At the end of talking about that episode, when you went, meh, it was all right, I was devastated. I thought it was the greatest thing I have ever seen captured on film. So I kind of thought, okay, well, maybe there'll be another hit out there with another dance movie, but also in the same vein as Xanadu and Can't Stop the Music, something that is talked about as being so terrible. So that's why I chose this, because I had heard it's awful, but I had also heard it's a bunch of dancing.
And you were ready to dance it out. You were like,
Is that what I told you?
Yeah, that's what you told me. Yeah.
Right.
For the love of the dance. I'd like to give it the shortened version. You chose the movie for the love of the dance.
And as I said in our pre-recording for patrons only, I had said maybe I need to take a little break from Love of the Dance.
Yeah, maybe you need to just, do some light stretching, back out of the studio for a little bit. Yeah, take it to the streets again.
Yeah, I feel like this hit me in the same way Xanadu did, where but I look back on Xanadu with affection for being as crazy as it was.
Sure.
So maybe a year from now, I'll look back and I'll go, you know what? Staying Alive, not terrible. But right now I'm thinking it's kind of terrible.
Okay. Let those feelings flow right from the start. I love it.
Why would I hold on to those feelings? It's all about expressing yourself.
It is. When you're dancing and like we were saying before, Travolta's character, what is his name? Tony Manero. Tony definitely expresses how he feels in the moment. So you are taking a page right out of his book.
He has no problem expressing himself anywhere, everywhere, to anyone that's near him. And for as much as I said he's kind of a creep because of the way he treats women, he doesn't really hide what a creep he is.
No, that's what makes him charming, I guess, is that he's like goes into it innocently enough.
Because when Cynthia Rhodes, I will try and use their names. Jackie.
Yeah, but I don't know what the other one's name is.
Laura. I only know it because of IMDb, because I don't think anybody called her by that name.
No, I don't think they call her. I don't think they do.
You could call her Finola Hughes. You could call her Blossom's stepmom. You could call her a bitch. You could call her the mom from Charmed. Who knows? Yeah. There's a lot going on here.
She's got some hats she wears. Yeah.
Even when Jackie is singing to him in this club, like she's singing some
when
love
she's
song.
Reaching her hand out to him and
he's looking. Some sexy waitress walks by, totally checks out her ass. Just in front of this woman singing to him, and then looks up, starts smiling again, like, I'm back with it's
and
fun.
Jackie knows. She at one point tells him, you can't treat me like this. But then like a couple of scenes later, he's like, I need your help. Teach me this sexy dance so that I could do the sexy dance with Laura.
With someone other than you.
She's a very supportive girlfriend.
I was ready for this, and tell me if this would be a better ending. Okay?
Okay, all right.
He takes that guy's lead part. Listen, he danced that part. He won it flat out.
Yeah, that other guy wasn't into it. Yeah.
Right, yes. Laura, the bitch, has a huge problem with this. She's very angry, stops their dance. I thought he was going to be like, guess what, director? I know someone who knows her part too. And I thought she was going to come in and
they were going to take over.
Yes. I thought that was what was going to happen.
That would have been spicy, but that would have taken the attention away from him.
Oh, you're right.
And that's not what this guy's about.
But at the end of the show, when he jumps on the platform, he's like, come on, jump up. And she's just laying on the ground, like making goofy faces. And I was like, is this part of the show?
No, he spun her off. And she didn't expect that. He literally spins her to the point where, like, spins her around like vomit wheel style. She's like, what are you doing?
I know.
Makes her so dizzy that she, like, scoots off to the side of the stage. And he's like, now I'm going to do a little dance solo for her.
I'm just dancing on my own. It's like the scene in Dirty Dancing when Jennifer Grey just does a weird little dance because she doesn't want to do what is a scary dance routine. Mm-hmm. But he just dances it out all sweaty, and I was just like, how is this director not furious right now?
Well, the audience loved it, and that's what the director cares about.
That director, near the end, he goes up into the booth and stuff, and at one point they start dancing, and he winces, like in this, like, oh, and then he goes, it's perfect. What kind of reaction is that?
I love his outfits. It must be very chilly where he's like, at one point he's got this like leather vest on. Then he wears like two sweaters. Warrior. Yeah, for a minute. Then he's got like these two sweaters and a scarf on. And I'm like, isn't it warm? Because the rest of them are sweating, but I guess because they're dancing so much.
And this movie is also just everybody standing around going, yeah, you know what? It's the 80s, but the 70s was pretty cool, right?
Yeah, like, they loved
so
it
much
then.
in this movie.
Yeah.
His beard to hair to outfits.
Just linked right in. Yeah.
That director stepped out of 1977 right into this movie.
He wanted it. He was like, yeah, this is well, it's still early 80s. This is 1983, right? And Saturday Night Fever was 77, right?
I think it was 77 or 78, something like that.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this is 83, so...
Yeah. I mean, a relatively large gap when we talk about, nowadays when movies have sequels and they just churn them out every year or every 2 years or something like that. If we're talking about a possible 6-year gap, that's pretty big.
Well, I read, though... Did you read about... I don't know if this is true.
I really did not. I didn't read about this.
So I read that they were excited to do the sequel, but the script, Travolta wasn't fond of the original script because it had the actor, or it had him struggling more in Broadway and not really making it on Broadway, and he didn't think that would play well to audiences. So there was a different writer of the script, and then Stallone came in as the director, and then Travolta was like, yeah, I wasn't a fan of how, this whole thing ended because I really didn't get the, accolades like I thought. And they rewrote the script. Or Stallone rewrote it.
This is like a weird point in Stallone. It's like, this is right before Rhinestone. Like, I don't know what Stallone
This
doing
might
this
have
time.
been motivating for Stallone to do Rhinestone.
I could imagine he was writing them both at the same time. Being like, well, I guess, he can do this. I can do this too.
I'll sing, he can dance. What are we going to do? Here we are.
I imagine he pitched a Staying Alive 3 or whatever. And he's like, this is what we'll do. I'll sing, you'll dance, it'll be great. And by that time, Travolta was off doing something else, I'm assuming.
He was done. He was taking his breaks.
I don't know. The fact that this is directed by Sylvester Stallone is fun.
Yeah.
And it's like an interesting little fact, but there's nothing about this that screams, oh yeah, Stallone made this movie.
I think some of the lines are, and some of the delivery of the lines, and even some of the like there's a scene where he's walking up the stairs. I feel like it's like walking up the Philly stairs that he does.
Steps, okay.
Yeah, and I think some of the montages, Rocky movies are infamously montage heavy. And
you're right. Okay. Maybe
so, yeah,
you might have me coming around on this.
I'm turning you a bit. Yeah.
Well, before we start, I think it's important to say that let's get away from the men in this movie for a minute, and I think we have to put to rest Cynthia Rhodes on this podcast.
This is her last.
And there are some actors in here that we have covered their 80s work, right? Mm-hmm. Like top to bottom. Listen, they didn't make another movie in the 80s. We have covered her entire filmography now.
Oh, because then she retires after the 80s. Oh.
It is just to let people know, these are all episodes we've done if you want to dig back through the catalog.
Go check them.
She started as a background dancer in Xanadu.
That's right.
She was one of the dancers in whatever that club was in Flashdance. We still have not gotten to the bottom of what
right. No, yeah.
or what they did. Then, right after that, she made this movie, Staying Alive. Then, she was that cop in that future movie, Runaway.
We really have covered her.
And finally, she capped it with Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, then she was, Penny. Penny, right? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I will say, on record, this worst haircut she's had out of any of those movies.
Well, yeah. Yeah. But a pretty good performance on her, I thought.
She was great. I'm surprised watching this movie and Dirty Dancing. I don't know. She was fine in Runaway, I guess, but I felt more for that dead maid robot than I did for her when she was shot.
Yeah.
I'm surprised she didn't keep it going. I think she probably could have.
What do we research? Was there a reason why? Did she step out of the limelight for a reason, or?
I didn't look into it. I should have. So, if anybody knows, if anybody's listening,
drop us a note. Let us know.
I mean, we could look on Wikipedia, but why would we do that?
Why would we do that when we have you guys to inform us?
Yeah.
It's called audience interaction.
Audience interaction. Oh, and if you're interacting with us, we're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
There it goes. There he goes.
Patreon. I didn't forget this time, but I did it in the laziest way possible.
I know.
We're on these things, whatever. Just type in our name.
Just check them out. Just to get there. Yeah.
So, I have to say the opening of this movie is shot out of a cannon. We are dancing. Did
sweaty.
you notice that Red Foreman and the main bad guy from RoboCop is the guy in charge of this?
I did
He has
see.
no lines of dialogue.
No, he just smokes a cigarette the whole time and looks so upset with all the dancers. He never looks satisfied.
Yeah, he's in this beginning dance routine. I was like, oh, I bet he's going to play the villain or something. No.
Yeah.
Don't hear a thing he says. He's out of the movie. Mm-hmm. So we see Tony, John Travolta. If I remember to call him Tony, that'll be kind of a miracle.
Well, you just did, so kudos to you.
He's auditioning.
Well, and in the first few moments when the credits very first start, before we see any dancing, I didn't know if the volume was on. I was like, is this thing on? What's happening? Because it's dead silent.
Dead silent. And I was like, this is a musical, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is singing and dancing. I was turning the volume
Me too. I was like, what's wrong here? Yeah.
I'm like, credits have started. Shouldn't this be like bang, bang? But no, listen, nothing starts until you see Travolta. This was probably a note that he said to Sly. He's like, listen, until you see my face,
the magic.
There's no sound. There's no sound.
You keep it silent. And I want some good shots of my ass at the end.
At the end, all the way through.
Wow.
I mean, this is just, listen, everything is tight. All of the outfits, well, when they're dancing are tight. When they're not dancing, the outfits are wild.
In some of them, yes.
When the bitchy lady, after his audition or whatever, when he goes up and they kiss and they go and they walk around New York City,
yeah.
and it's that montage. What she is wearing, like a leather bomber jacket, but also like baggy MC Hammer leather pants. It is so strange.
She's a fashionable New Yorker, she's got from I was going to say from Britland.
From Britland, right, yes. I'm sure that Travolta said that. I guarantee you that's probably a line. Maybe it didn't make the final cut, but he probably said Britland.
Oh, man.
He's auditioning, but he's cut.
Yeah, he doesn't make it.
No.
Oh, and it's tough for him. He didn't like that, but as it turns out, this is what he's used to, right?
It's what he's used to. He seems to be teaching at like what appeers to be an aerobic studio / dance studio.
What's it called? Miss Fantasia's or something? Phantasma.
I don't know.
Phantasma.
Is Miss Fantasia that black lady?
Yes.
Okay, good. That he flatters her by saying like, "Hey, I can totally see through your shirt." Like, it's great.
Yeah, but it's a great shirt. Yeah. And she's so pissed. He's late to teach the class.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I can imagine this probably happens all the time.
He just rolls in from these auditions, kind of out of it. And then he's kind of trying to motivate his dancers. They're kind of sloppy. the ones in his class.
Did you see that guy? He's got like a bucket fishing hat
Yes,
on and like
yes.
khakis, and he's knocking into people.
I'm like, what is that guy doing in this class? Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, he hates it. He doesn't like it, but he is trying. He is trying to motivate these people.
Right.
It's such a, again, with this movie, like it's a New York movie, but it feels like a 70s New York movie. Like 70s movies, New York is so scuzzy. And everywhere he is, every audition, everything, it feels like everybody was just smoking.
Dirty
like,
feel, yeah.
Yeah, even in this dance studio, there's like haze and a fog and cracks in the wall and water dripping down. It looks a mess.
We don't see the studio again, do we?
No, it's like that's not really a job.
Well, because he's got several other gigs. So he also lives, we see he lives in a hotel, essentially, which is another, like you said, it's got that similar, like, dirty vibe, but it's a hotel. He, very good way to kind of economize. He showers and washes his clothes in the shower.
I loved it. I was waiting for him to brush his teeth.
Me too. Let's just get one-stop shop, right?
Yep. Take a shit, brush your teeth, wash
all of
your
it
clothes,
right in here. That's all you need. He also works at like a dance club as a waiter.
It's like he's working at Studio 54. It is crazy. And also, he's like dancing while he's serving drinks.
Yeah.
He's got the tray, but he's shimmying. And there should be, I would assume, an easier path to get drinks to people than going right through the dance floor.
Through the dance floor. And then he gets mad when they knock it down. He's like, oh, Jesus. He's got some groupies at this dance club.
Wow.
Yeah.
First of all, listen, a 1983 John Travolta, I totally get it. But these women in this movie are all over him.
Yeah.
Every time he turns around, I started to get confused at, let's call it Studio 54, because there were about 8 different women, but they were all kind of dressed the same and they all kind of talked the same.
Yeah.
That are just asking him what he's doing tonight. And the one lady's like, why don't you come home? Last time it was so great. It's like, I don't have time for this right now. At one point, he tells this woman, he's like, you guys, I went to your place last time and you party too hard. You party too hard.
I was waiting for it. When the one bartender is like, hey, like all these ladies are here for you. Can you like share them with me?
Yeah.
And he says, what do you got? Emotional problems or what?
What does that mean?
I don't know. That's why I wrote it down. Like you said, all these ladies go up to him. There's a woman with, I just wrote, she's got terrible magenta makeup all over her face. Like I know it's the 80s, but her makeup is pretty severe.
It's like she's in Liquid Sky.
Yes,
it's like she's one of those women in there.
And she wants him to come back. This might be the same woman that he's like, you party too hard.
You party too hard.
There you go.
Because you party too hard.
He's not into that. He's a dancer. You know?
Yeah, he does once say, he's like, I haven't been drinking. I moved to the city. I stopped drinking. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't curse anymore. He doesn't drink anymore. He's being a little better. She tells him, though, this one stalker lady tells him, because he's like, what does he say about him not wanting a relationship? Like he's got to...
this was a good line.
Yeah.
This was a good burn by this woman. But yeah, he says, I'm not ready for a serious relationship right now.
And she fires back with, you're not a relationship, you're exercise.
I love that. I was like,
Spicy.
I was like, maybe we'll spend a lot of time with the character who's just as mean to him. And I was happy that she was.
Well, then he gets these one night stands or these little crazy nights with these women, but he's still he's with not Laura, that's
Jackie.
He goes home to Jackie a lot.
He appears to be in a stable or in a committed relationship with Jackie, but it's just like based on what these women say, he's going home with them constantly.
Yeah.
But you're right, because he's like, I'm really busy. I got stuff to do. And it cuts to him waking up and we see he and Jackie in silhouette and she's constantly encouraging him. Like, she's such a pushover in this movie.
I know.
To the point where I was angry that it ended the way it did. Like, couldn't they just be
friends? I liked your idea of the reversal, too, of her being pulled into the dance routine. That would have been like the Girls Just Want to Have Fun ending, where all the other characters take over. You know how like in Girls Just Want to Have Fun? Do you remember Girls Just Want to Have
I
Fun?
do not remember what happened in that movie. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
I remember they liked a dance show that they watched, and then they were trying to get on that show. I don't remember if they did.
This is painful. This is painful. Stop.
Okay.
Stop.
All right,
Just
sorry.
Well, so he wakes up at her house, and I love it I guess it's her apartment. And it's early, and I love this motivation. I'm going to it's my new mantra when I get up. I got to get something going today.
Listen.
Got to get something going today. Mm-hmm.
He is pounding that pavement. Mm-hmm. And I have a question for you, because you may have done stuff similar to this at some point. What is he doing? Where is he? Is he in agents' offices? Like, can you just walk into places and start talking to people?
Well, that's
at their
why
desks?
they're so rude to him, because technically you shouldn't.
So he just pushed past receptionists and was like, no, I'm Tony. You don't know I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah, I got stuff. I think somebody even asked him for a headshot at one point. He doesn't even have that.
He does. He gives somebody a headshot, and they don't even look at it and just look at him and shake their head.
And I love it. How he's like, I could do this, I could do that, but I'm a dancer. I don't mind doing a soap opera. I don't mind doing. I just don't want to do nudity because I promised my mom I wouldn't do the nudity.
His mom is so hung up on nudity. At the end of this movie, I was like, does she still think there's a possibility he's going to whip his dick out in this show? Like, is she still a little nervous that might happen?
She's some intense casting, because that scene they have when he's back home with her and he's eating the pie or whatever, there's moments where I'm like, is that Travolta in drag? Because she's got like his eyes and like there's moments where I'm like, wow. But
she's really good. In that scene where he's there, she's really, really great in that scene.
She does a great job as a little New York mama.
Yeah. But he's walking around, like you said, he's talking to agents, trying to sell himself. At one point, he's like, I'm really good at, like, sports stuff. Like, I could do stickball and push-ups. I was like, those aren't sports. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no. Yeah, but I'm a dancer by nature.
But I'm a dancer. That's what I'll even do soap operas. But I'm a dancer. I'm a dancer. It's what I do. Look at these blue eyes. I'm a dancer.
Look at my blue eyes. Look at this.
You talked about Bateman eyes in our last episode. These are some serious Travolta eyes.
These are big Travolta eyes. I agree. I did take a note that at this point, I think it stops now for a bit, but there is music playing throughout this whole movie. Like the soundtrack is just on. Yeah. There's not any moments of silence. We have heard some sort of background or lead music up until now.
And I feel like that's why when he goes to visit his mom, it's totally quiet.
Yeah.
That's like the only time in this movie where it's quiet. And that's why I feel like I was like, oh, maybe I should now start paying attention to what's
maybe they're going to reveal something here.
What characters are saying. So it's kind of funny because he gets rejected all day long. And he's got such a bizarre relationship with Jackie because she's like, hey, I'm sorry it didn't work out really well for you. But, I'm still so adoring. And also, I have a show. Like, that's cool, right? You'll be there. And he's like, I don't know if I'm coming to your show. I'm like, you're such a fucking asshole.
You're just a jerk.
What are you doing?
And she even calls him out. She's like, you're not coming because you're jealous because I'm in a show and you're not.
Yes.
And he's like, all right, well, maybe I'll go to the show.
Yeah, this is the one time in this movie. Let's just be very clear to our audience that may not have seen this. Mm-hmm. This is the one time in this entire movie that he shows up to be with Jackie when he says he
But then he doesn't really be with Jackie. He doesn't even watch Jackie at all.
It's almost like he's hitting on someone while Jackie's standing right next to him. Mm-hmm. The fact that he is audacious enough to be like, oh yeah, you're going in your dressing room for a questionable amount of time. While you're gone, I'm totally going to hit on somebody the entire time with you possibly right around the corner. Yeah, you could walk in on this at any moment, but I'm going to do this because I don't care about you.
And he gawks at this. So we also get to watch, and again, I think this is where the music seems off from their dance moves. It's just like 80s dancing. I don't know.
There's a lot of kicking. Most of what she does is this. She puts her hand to her chest and she kicks her legs up in the air. And I was like, this isn't dancing, right? Like, this is not dancing.
Well, and her hair's so long and she whips her hair around all the time.
She is, I will say, and we might disagree because you just referred to her as the bitch in your notes. She's my favorite character in this movie.
Oh, yeah,
like,
well.
She's playing a bitch, but she's doing such a fun job of it that
You're enjoying her bitch.
Like when he is complimenting her, and she's like, "Yeah, I know I'm great, dipshit.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
leave
yeah.
me the fuck alone. Like I'm so much better than you. It hurts."
Yeah, she really is. She's kind of like, and she gets mean to him too. Like when she's got a certain level of treatment she expects.
Yeah.
And he's just trying too hard at one point. She's calling him out on it. But he is smitten when he first sees her. He literally can't keep his big blue Travolta eyes off of her.
Right. Through the entire movie. Like, even when they're all dancing together and he's just staring at her, and every now and then he'll glance over at Jackie and just smile like, yep, I'm paying attention to you now.
And she's all shifty-eyed. She's looking between him and her and him and her.
Yes.
Well, you're right, Jackie. Don't trust it.
I know, because I couldn't imagine how many times this has happened in the, 6 years he's been in the city.
Yeah.
But yeah, he meets this new dancer when he comes to see Jackie's show. Jackie runs off stage and is like, "What did you think?" And he's like, "You were fantastic.
Yes.
Hey, what's her deal?"
Right,
I like it when they leave and he's like, "Hey, is she seeing anyone?" I was like, why would you ask your girlfriend that?
Yeah, not an appropriate question. Know your boundaries. And he doesn't.
Right.
He doesn't know his boundaries. That's part of it. He goes right up to her dressing room, to Laura's dressing room, like you said, where she's pretty rude to him because he's like, "You're pretty incredible." And she's like, "I know." He's like,
yeah. I mean, I don't know if these are the exact lines, but he's like, I'd like to get together sometime with you and, just talk about how incredible you are."
Yeah.
She goes like, "Why would I do that? I know I'm incredible."
It's exactly
Okay.
the lines, yes. Then he does this terrible pickup thing where because she's just trying to shoo him away. She's like, I've got stuff to do, and no, I'm not into you. And he's like, well, and she wants to know, like, what do you do?
Right.
And he's like, I'm a fortune teller.
Oh, God.
That whole
This
bit.
is such a long pickup bit, and I love it.
I love that she's, even after it, she kind of smiles like you're wondering, is she a little charmed by him? And obviously, she becomes slightly charmed by him in this first meeting, but not enough to keep him around after this. But he pretends that he's got some Rico guy.
Yeah, because he's like,
terrible.
I'm a fortune teller. Like, I know you're going to end up with this really great guy. His name's Rico. He came with me. No, and I love it how he turns and he's like, "Oh, yeah, Rico. Yeah, she's right here. Hold on. I'll just go get him." And it's supposed to be charming, and it is kind of fun.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing is how this ends, because she just slams the door in his face.
Yeah, she's not into it. This is when I have this written down too, where he tells her she must be getting mad, and he's like, "I thought I was being charming." And then she must say something like, "You're demeaning to women." And he's like, "I respect your womanhood."
But he gets so mad. She slams his door in his face. And I love it how he looks over at some guy who was watching this whole thing. And he's like, "It's really drafty in here."
Yeah.
And then he pushes open the door like an asshole. And he's like, "Why'd you do that? You nearly broke my face with his door." Okay, calm down. She told you to leave and you're coming right back in. And he does that. He does that constantly in this movie. Like, even later when Jackie's like, "No, please don't walk me home." And he's like, "I'm just going to walk you home."
Yeah.
No, she told you not to.
Again, lack of boundaries.
Yeah.
He's got
Tony,
none.
I can't meet you here tonight. So you're going to meet me here tonight, right? Okay, Tony, come on.
I'll spin you till you're silly and I'll take over the whole dance routine.
Yeah.
You'll see.
But he does say to her that he's a dancer. And I love how she goes, "You're a dancer?" And he goes, "Can't you tell?" Like, how is she supposed to tell?
I know.
You're not twirling around. But she even says, "Hey, we got I got a new show coming up. And we have some spots available. Maybe you should try out." And for some reason, he says no.
Yeah, he doesn't want her pity, I think. He's like, "No, I can't do that." Meanwhile, I like it later when he tells Jackie, "I heard there's some auditions for the new show." She's like, "I told you that 2 weeks ago."
This is crazy. I just don't understand. And even later on, he's like, "Jack, you didn't say anything to that director about me? I got this on my own. I got it on my own. I'm like, dude, you're banging the star of the show.
Yeah.
Do you think Jackie's putting in a good word for you?
Yeah.
No. But you did not get this on your own, John.
Yes, let's just give Jackie some props because she nails her auditions, unlike her little bed buddy there.
Right. She nails her auditions. She shows up to work at this dance studio, whatever it is.
And then she sings at the
the
nightclub.
lead singer in a house band. Like, she has got it together. She does not need this loser dragging her down.
She doesn't, and he literally does drag her down.
Yeah, so then this is when he does walk out, and they see her walk out in like a big fur coat and get in a limo.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's obsessed with whose limo that is. He's constantly like, is that hers? Whose limo is this?
Whose limo is this? Whose limo is this? Later on, he's like, whose limo is this? And she gets in, and he looks at the driver and goes, whose limo is this? And then turns around and looks at a homeless guy and is like, do you know whose limo this is?
He's obsessed. He needs to get to the bottom of it.
It's clearly the limo of the guy you saw in a tux earlier. How are you not putting this together?
He's very curious. He needs to get to the bottom of it.
So he shows up to this audition. Also, he's kind of a jerk at the audition when he's talking through the whole instructions.
Oh, yeah. And then he makes a joke. He flirts. He's flirting with Jackie and getting in trouble and just like, yeah, well, you crazy girl, Jackie.
I'm like, dude, you're not just going to get yourself in trouble. You're going to get Jackie in trouble for this, too.
Yeah.
He's not listening. The director has to tell him to shut up. But then he dances for 20 seconds, and the director's like, great. You guys are all great, but I only need 2 of you.
Yes.
I'll let you know.
And now this is a tricky thing, the callback.
Sorry, before this, can we just talk about, this is what I talked about earlier with her in the leather? Because after his tryout, he goes up, and I did like this when she says to him, she's like, hey, Jimmy. And he goes, it's Tony. And her response is, whatever.
Yeah. Because she doesn't care.
It's this cute little montage of them walking around the city. They go for a handsome cab ride.
No, yeah.
They do like a funny little thing where he pretends to steal her purse and run away. Did you see that?
I did. Yep. With her little gold purse.
It's a stupid montage. And it ends with them in her bed, which I laughed when I saw crazy, like this insanely
huge, large bed. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's like this. It's like they've just been transported there too. Yeah. Like he didn't get to walk through her apartment because he's like looking around, like, why is it so nice in here? What's going on?
It's so strange. It's so strange. And I love how even after they've had sex, he's still doing these weird pickup lines.
Yeah.
But her response is like, yeah, that was fun. Now get the fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah.
Like, she's like,
I love that.
This.
I love it when she's like, well, it's like 3. You should probably go because I have tomorrow. And he's like, wait, are you kicking me out? Because nobody kicks me out. Like, I've never been kicked out. And she's
I'm
like,
kicking women out constantly. Nobody kicks me out.
I'm not the one that gets you. You want me to stick around. You want a guy like me here. But then this is even weirder.
This is crazy. This is the craziest part of this insane movie.
He has this night with her, right? This fun little rendezvous. And now he leaves or gets kicked out. It's pouring rain. And he goes to a payphone to call Jackie and just check in on her.
To see if there's a man there. Like, it's so strange.
Yeah. And even when she hangs up, she's like, he's a weird guy.
Yes, it's so bizarre because she's like, where are you? And he's like, I'm just out patrolling the city streets, keeping them safe.
Yep.
Are you there alone? And it's not like he's going over there for another round of sex that night. No, he just wants to make sure that he is allowed to cheat on her, but she's not allowed to cheat on him.
It's weird, right?
It's so
weird
strange.
Dynamic. Very strange dynamic. I thought he was going to call her back. I thought he was going to
be like, nobody kicks me out. I'm coming back.
Yeah, exactly. Or I had such a great time or some kind of joke thing that then was going to extend their date into the rainy night. But no, he bizarrely calls Jackie his sort of girlfriend or friend with benefits to make sure that she is alone.
But it's one of those weird things where I'm like, do they have a different idea of what this relationship is? But I don't think so. Like, I think he thinks they're dating. She thinks they're dating. But for him, that means something completely different.
It's not.
You know?
It's very open dating. Very open.
But anyway, like you were saying, he goes. Now we see him like dancing, like shimmying around in the lobby of his apartment building.
Oh, yeah.
While he has a tape recorder. What's with that?
I don't know if he's preparing to tape like when they call him and they give him. They
He
say
doesn't.
He got the audition. No, he turns it off. I'm not sure. Unless it's like he was jamming out to his own tunes in that.
Okay,
I don't know.
maybe. He gets the call. He's sitting, like, this is supposed to be a funny scene because there's a bunch of old drunk guys, I guess, sitting around. He gets the call that he got the part or whatever they tell him. He can't believe it because he's even like, wait. Say that again. Hold on. I got the part.
Yeah.
He's so excited. He's about to run out of this room. And then he realizes he better call his mom.
Oh, yeah. He does tell the guys in the lobby that he loves them, I think. Doesn't he?
He does. And then when there's no reaction at the end of the scene, because this, I'm sure, got a huge laugh in the theater when he's I need to get a new place. Yep. And then we see the old guys again. And what was missing was just a fart noise at the end of that.
Yeah. Or a belch or some kind of, yep.
Yep, right.
But he calls his mom. And she's insistent that he keeps his clothes on again.
Right. Yes, immediately he's like, I got a part. She's like, are your pants on in this?
Yeah, I just want to make sure you're wearing clothes. I do love it because she does do such a great job. And having raised by a New York mom, she responds like, because he is all about him and telling him his news. And then he checks in on her. Are you okay, Mom? And I'm all right. I'm fine. I'm all right. I'm fine.
I love it, and I don't want to jump ahead because we'll talk about it when he's there. But boy, she seems almost put out by the fact that he's there visiting her later.
I know. She's like, so what are you doing? Well, he does just show up. He walks to her house. Isn't that the night that he just goes for a walk?
Who knows where he's walked? Like how long this has taken
from
him?
Manhattan
it took
to
him
Brooklyn.
All night to get there.
He never gets on the subway. He never gets on a train.
Listen, he is in shape, and that's how you do it. You walk everywhere.
That's how you do it, and you can do
all
it in the
night
city.
Long.
Yep. You got to see your mama, and she's like, I made pie special for you.
At one point, he says to Jackie, he's like, Jackie, why are you still working at that shithole? That place is a fucking dump. And when we go there, I'm like, this place looks okay.
Pretty classy. Yeah, pretty classy.
Yeah.
It's not Club 54.
Right, but we see that she's the lead singer of a band, as well as all this dancing stuff.
Yeah.
This is also, as I said earlier, a waitress walks by and he's checking her out while she's singing some love song to him alongside Frank Stallone playing a guitar. Because Frank Stallone did all the music to this movie.
Yeah, I saw that. How about how when she's up there singing with Frank Stallone, he calls her down and she leaves the stage to talk to him so that he could tell her, I'm not into how that guitar guy's looking at you, how Frank Stallone's looking at you.
I was like, Travolta, they're doing a duet. Like, this was a duet, and you made her get off the stage mid-song. The song is still playing.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, he's still sliding his little guitar. And I love it when she's like, what is your problem? He's like, I don't know, maybe I'm just emotional. Yep. That's his response.
You're a psycho.
Exactly.
Calm down. So now he is like stalking this lead dancer now.
Yeah.
And he shows up outside of her apartment because something good happened in Tony's life and he needs to tell everyone that he knows about it, including this dancer. So he shows up and suddenly she's with some rich dude who's wearing a scarf around his neck and a tux. And he's even like, who's this guy? Who's this guy right here?
I've been trying to call you. I thought we had something here. What the hell? He gets so upset with her, too. Is this when she yells at him? And she's like, you listen to me, right?
Well, she doesn't yell at him here because she's with that guy. But she's just kind of like, ha, 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 whatever, you dummy.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of her response to him. Also, what's important is when he was talking to Jackie at this bar, she invited him somewhere. And he's like, I'll meet you later. But no, he has to stalk this new woman, so he stands Jackie up. We see her standing on a street corner, just looking around.
It's cold out, yeah. I guess he's not coming.
Hangs her head and walks away. So this is when they're dancing. They're doing their little tryouts. This is when he's like, staring at Laura the whole time. And Jackie sees him staring. And this is where the director finally, this director who has a head of hair and a beard and style that is
ferocious
unmatched in this movie.
In this decade. Yeah, it's like you said, it's very 70s style. But yeah.
It is bizarre because it's kind of like, all right, Travolta's on screen. These hot dancers are on screen. I could not take my eyes off this director dressed in leather that had like yellow stripes on it.
Yeah.
It was bizarre. But this is when my interest about this show was piqued because he's so mad at one point and he's like, in case you've all forgotten.
Oh, right.
This show is called Satan's Alley. I was like, really? What is this?
Yeah. Don't worry, it's a Broadway show, and it's going to have Beyond the Marquee, Satan's Alley. Wait till you see it at the end.
And after this audition, they all file out, and again, Jackie's such a pushover because like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Time got away from me. And she's like, you don't need to apologize for standing me up. It's totally cool. How about I leave now so that lead dancer could call me a shitty dancer to you?
Yeah, yep.
She totally does.
Yeah, she makes her cute little exit, and then, she comes down making fun of them at first. Like, oh, the lovers, right? Yeah. And then Jackie kind of like you said, excuses herself.
Right.
But then right away, he goes from being like with Jackie to looking at her and being like, I thought we had something.
This is when he gets like frighteningly possessive.
Yes.
She's even like, get your damn hands off me. Mm-hmm. Who do you think you are? Who do you think I am? Get away from me, you creep. And I love how after this shot, the camera just pans up to the director for no reason, standing on the stairwell.
Yeah, but this I'll tell you why, because he knows this sort of tension is what he needs for his Satan's Alley.
He needs that passion.
Yes,
you are exactly right. We thought at this point in the movie, I'm not saying he learned his lesson, but he just stood Jackie up possibly that night before, and Jackie still in this scene is like, yeah, come on over at 9.
Yes.
And then he walks outside and the lead dancer's like, hey, I got this thing. It's at 10. You should show up.
At first he says I might have other plans, but he doesn't. Right. He doesn't go to those other plans.
No.
Mm-mm.
No, and now he's all angry. This is when, like you said, every time he walks into his building, he asks the guy at the desk if he has any messages. And he's so angry because of I don't know. He landed a part in a show. He's got women falling all over themselves to get to him. And he looks at this guy and he's like, I don't even care if I got a message today. Like, okay.
Yeah,
good
I
line.
love that. He's like, I don't want to know. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me today. And I love it because the guy's like, I wasn't going to give you messages either way. It doesn't matter.
Do you know that old guy's like, I don't even know who you are.
Yeah. Do you live here?
Here?
Whose limo is this?
Whose
limo is this?
Did you ask me whose limo that is? Because I don't know. Whose limo is this? So John Travolta goes back to his apartment and he gets this outfit.
Oh, this is the white suit.
For this party. He is dressed for a Miami Vice audition.
Oh, yeah. He's ready to pimp it out.
Yep. Everyone else is wearing white shirt, black jacket.
It's like an office party. It's like a corporate office party, yeah. And he's
got
in
white jacket, like a turquoise V-neck shirt underneath it.
Yep. And this is the only thing hanging in his closet. All the other clothes he's got, I guess, are just around. It's
like he had to unwrap this thing from plastic to put it on. It's so coveted.
It's special too.
I even looked at it and I was like, is this symbolic of like the white suit that he wore in the first movie? But I don't think it's the same thing.
I don't think it's the same thing, or maybe I don't.
It's the same idea.
Yeah,
well, that's what I'm wondering. If they were like, we tried to find the same thing, we couldn't, but this is pretty close, close enough.
And we can't do exactly the same, but this is your Staying Alive, and that was your Saturday Night Fever one, so,
It's the 80s. The colors have gotten considerably smaller, so we weren't able to find anything that aggressive in the color, but this will work. Maybe if you flip it up in the back, it'll really help.
It'll be good. It'll be good. She is at the party. She's got a white dress on, too. They're kind of matchy-matchy. And she wears the messy bun, like the girl did in Karate Kid 2.
I didn't think of that, but yeah, they have very similar hairstyles.
This is the song Moody Girl plays the whole time that he's in this party.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I wrote it down because they
notice.
must repeat like Moody Girl. I don't even know how that goes. But
Boy, they're really just like hammering it home here.
Yeah.
It should have been bitchy girl.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's that bitch? He's
That's the Madonna B-side.
It is.
Okay. Right. I might have to choose Who's That Girl for my next birthday movie.
Might be good.
I have brought up before that I've seen that movie an unreasonable amount of times.
Well, then I think it should be a birthday pick.
All right.
It's a
Okay.
little present
All right.
to you. All right. There you go.
You hear that? Hear that, Griffin
2021
Dunn?
pick
Get ready.
already out. It's already out. Love it.
I like how she takes him because he is looking at her. He's staring daggers at her, and also we just get the director like watching this, like, I can see how this is going to.
Feels the sizzle. He feels it. Yeah.
He starts to cause a scene, and she's like, "Hey, how about we go take this out on the freezing cold balcony?" And I love that she talks to him like he's a child when they're on the balcony. She's like, "Hey, Bucko, listen, we had a good time. It was totally fine. You okay with this? You all right, buddy?
Yeah,
it's gonna be fine." Like, she's so condescending, and it's super fun, and he's so mad. And also, it's such a throwaway. It doesn't matter when this movie's taking place, but when she walks away and goes, "Yeah, also Merry Christmas," I was like, "What?" Wait,
well, because it's the holidays,
happening?
which you don't get any other. And New York Christmas, there's a lot they could do, right? And you don't get any. There's no montage of them ice skating. There's no
Nothing
Rockefeller
is
Center.
decorated for
there's
Christmas.
nothing. No,
It was really funny.
There's not even a snowflake on the. The only clue we get is that the director wears a sweater. And Jackie is cold one day when he leaves her outside.
That's when they were. She also says she's cold when they're out on the balcony.
Oh,
and she's
yeah,
talking to him.
yeah.
That's why she goes in. She's like, "Well, it was my idea to come out here, but I'm pretty damn cold."
Yeah, but now I'm cold.
Merry
and I made
Christmas.
my point to you. So let's just Merry Christmas. Let's move on.
So he then tries to apologize to Jackie.
Yeah, ping pong it back.
Yeah, and finally, this movie's been going on forever. Finally, she's like, "Listen, we're done, dude.
Yeah.
All right? Listen, you barge in here on, I guess, Christmas. I'm singing in the band in a bar on Christmas. You're here. You're apologizing. It's not working. I thought they were in an alley, but she just walks into the bathroom after they fight."
Yes. Yeah.
This is when he walks home to his mother.
Yeah, this is when he walks boroughs. And he walks from Manhattan to Brooklyn in the white suit, mind you, still in the white suit. He has pie and tea and other beverages. There's a bevy of beverages in front of him. And you're right.
It appears that there's like wine, but there's also coffee. Like, I don't know how long this meal's been going on
I don't know. But she does. I love it when she looks at him and she's like, "So why are you here? What are you I'm having my girlfriends with the cards are coming over later. What are you doing here?"
I totally expected a gag to be like some old guy like looks around the corner is like,
and
"Hey,
he's like,
are you
is this your
coming
son?"
back to
Yeah.
It's like, I was so waiting for that gag. I thought it would be hilarious, but instead it's just like the Tony Mope show because he's like, "I got a lot of things going on right now, Mom. I feel like I'm a horrible guy," and she's like, "You know what? Being horrible made you who you are.
Yeah,
Being horrible got you out of here."
She gives him sort of this bizarre pep talk about it. He's trying to apologize to her because he's saying, like, "I was really a horrible guy and I wasn't very nice to you and I'm really sorry." And she's like, "What are you talking about? This is you." And he's like, "So what are you saying?" And she's like, "Well, if you were you, not you, then you wouldn't be where you are today."
Yes.
So
and I'm like, lady, stop condoning and like rewarding this behavior.
Why do you think he does what he does?
Yeah, the moment she says this, he is Tony out of the dumps. Like, he's done.
Yeah, the little light bulb went off in his head.
Yeah, I'm going to have some of that pie. He's shoving it in his mouth. It's all crumbs all over his
He's
lips.
enjoying it. He's enjoying it now.
Table manners, John Travolta. Table manners.
Bring him around.
He seems to have turned a corner, kind of, but not really, because he's watching Laura dance sensually with this lead dancer, and he's getting so upset about this.
Yeah, he's got a short fuse is what he does.
Yeah, and now there's been no time. I assume this is the next day after he and Jackie broke up.
Yes.
And he asks her to go out, and she's like, no, I'm busy. I have plans with someone. And he suggests a threesome.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, well, I'll join you then. I'll join your plans. It's fine. I'm not afraid of your plans.
And my thought is, it's that guitar player, right? Like, do
Yeah.
you understand what this threesome is going to be, right? It's
She even is like,
Frank
you
Stallone,
are
and
so
Jackie.
weird. You are so weird for asking me this.
Yes.
But then she does give in. He's like, well, I need your help with something. Please tell me you'll help me with something. She's like, all right, I'll help you with something.
Yeah, because then he blames his upbringing and stuff. He's like, everybody that I grew up with were horrible people. That's just the way we are.
That's just
and
how
she's
we
like,
are.
you're so silly. And she agrees to meet him back at the dance studio later. This is when we said that she brings Frank Stallone. He shows up with her, walks her to be safe. And John Travolta pitches a fit about this.
He has a whole thing. He calls him a pervert,
Yeah.
a demented paratrooper.
Yeah, he's a demented paratrooper. He's a pervert. I can feel it. Guitar players are the worst.
And she's like, oh, come on. And then he's like, Frank Stallone is like, are you okay? Is everything okay? And she's like, it's fine. Thanks for walking me. I got to do something with this guy now.
Yeah. Thanks for walking me, guy who's probably secretly been into me for years
Yes,
now.
yes.
And maybe almost thought he had a shot, but you walked her back to her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, exactly. And now they're going to rehearse a sexy dance together.
Oh my God, are they going to rehearse this thing? I love how she doesn't know why she's there, but has her leotard on right under
She's
what
ready.
she was just
She
singing
knows
in.
if this is where we're going to meet, dancing is probably going to go down.
You're right. No, that's
You
a
know?
good point.
Yeah.
And it is, like we had said earlier, it's a slow motion. This is a montage exclusively in slow motion. There's
Yes,
no
no.
regular paced scenes or clips at all in this scene.
No. And like you said, in some ways, it gives you a good insight as to how trained of dancers they both are and how good these two actors are in their dance moves. But it is long and it is
It's
slow.
so long. Yeah.
And it is a lot of tossing and twisting and rubbing and flipping and dancing.
Yeah.
Just a lot of
I mean,
slow-mo dancing.
I had said I wasn't crazy about this movie, and maybe I came down a little hard on it at the beginning. Because
You're rough,
what I
yeah.
will say is, other than two scenes, one of which we're talking about right now, and one of which we'll get to later, this movie's moving. Like, it's moving. At no point was I bored, except during this montage where I was like, this is still slow motion? Like, this is still happening? And, of course, the finale of this it makes no sense whatsoever.
What is the finale? When he goes to
show,
walk her home.
the show.
Oh, their show. Yes.
Like,
I thought you
that
meant
was
the finale of their slow dancing.
No, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. But we do get to see that these two people can dance. I still have questions about Blossom's stepmom. Not sure if she can dance.
No, she does
can
do.
kick.
Yeah. What about when
She
he
can
throws her
kick.
back and she does this like shaky thing with her upper body?
Also, like, and I don't want to keep comparing this to Dirty Dancing. I already did it. But there's no, like, the big concluding, like, finishing move in Dirty Dancing is great.
Yeah.
When he lifts her up. And in this, it's like she jumps, but he, like, puts her on his back and she, like, shimmies down. And I'm like, that's the big finish move?
Well, and when he lifts her up and then she shimmies down, you just see him, like, kind of working it to hold her up.
Yep.
You don't get to see the full, like, her rise and what that might have looked like.
No. This is that actress saying, I am not comfortable with this.
Yeah.
I feel like John Travolta's going to drop me. I know. And Sylvester Stallone's like, look at the guy. He's ripped. We're working out every day. And she's like, I do not feel comfortable with this. You're going to have to shoot it in a way where it's just his arms, like, shaking a little bit.
Yes.
But we don't see her at all.
No.
After one day of being broken up, all it takes is a slow dance and him basically insisting that he walks her home.
Yes.
I like this because I like how this line won her over, where he goes, I'm just not used to saying nice things to you. I was like, what are you doing with this guy?
I know, but then he tells her he loves her, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Because she tells him, I think, earlier that she loves him. I think, when they fight.
And he
she's like,
doesn't
I love you.
reciprocate, yes.
Yeah. But this time he tells her, after all this slow motion dancing, I love you.
And that's it. They kiss, they go upstairs, and put a bow on that because that relationship problem has been solved, and now we just have to get on with the dancing and figure everything out when it comes to this
So now they're
show.
back at rehearsal.
And this guy, this lead dancer, he must have been a mess the whole time because this director is super frustrated with this guy.
He's kind of riding him. Yeah, the director's kind of riding him. He's like, and even at one point he's like, all right, let's just pause. And she's like, was it me? And he's like, no, it wasn't you. It's your rotten partner.
Right, it's this guy. This guy in this pink leotard. What are you wearing? The director goes off to have a smoke and sulk, and Travolta walks up. He's like, hey, give me a chance. I can do this. I know the part. And suddenly cut to the director arguing with Laura because she does not want this to happen.
She's like, no. And he's like, believe me. And he's the director. He gets the final call.
Of course.
Right? Yes.
And of course he's great, but their dance doesn't really work out.
The first time he does an awkward thing when he's supposed to catch her, she goes through the legs or something. It doesn't work, and he feels like he's getting laughed at.
Yeah, he's very conscious of what people think of him. It's so strange because she even storms off. She's like, this is a mess. You're horrible, blah, blah, blah. But at some point, we have to suddenly start to feel like she really wants John Travolta, and now she's sad that he doesn't want anything to do with it. Like, it's so dumb in such a horrible way. But this, again, comes to nothing either because the director walks out again, or John Travolta storms off, and the director's like, who do you think you are? Do you think you're anything? Do you think you're anybody? You're nothing. I'm giving you your only shot.
Well, he's making a good point. He's like, you've got nothing else going on. Who do you think you are to just, like, you are given the role as a lead in a Broadway show, and you were given that role just within minutes, and now you're going to have a stormy, like, piss fight over, you're
going to be a big dumb baby and leave? Like, the director is the hero of this film, which is crazy. Like, this guy who just had an insane beard and outfits is the guy who wraps everything up for us as the audience.
Yeah.
Because now John Travolta comes back. And now they start dancing. Oh, also I wrote my notes that Laura, in her gray spandex with white or yellow stripes on it, she looks like she's a Running Man contestant from what she's wearing.
Yeah, she does.
So it's like I said, the climax of the dance isn't some crazy move. It's like a small flip and a slide down his back, which, okay, fine. And they do it, and it must be like, everyone's now convinced that John Travolta is so great. He can get
the part, right. He can get it, right.
Yep. And now Jackie can just fade into the background. She's done her part.
She's always been a backup dancer. She even says that very early on in the movie. They have a conversation where he's like, what do you want to do with your life? And she's like, what? I mean, I'm doing all right. Like, I'm dancing in New York and I'm singing in New York, and it is what it is for me right now, and I'm happy. And he's like, don't you want more?
Yeah. Travolta, you're washing your clothes in your shower. She's singing in a band. Like, she has this figured out way more than you do.
She's doing all right. She's doing all right. Yeah, except that she's still with you.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's going to... I want a third movie in this series, and he just drags her through the mud. That's what's going to happen. So now we get a montage of, like, the production getting going. Like, we see people building sets.
Oh,
when I saw a guy welding, I was like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah, so did I. I was like, what's going on now?
Right. But it's everybody. The dancers are getting better. They're creating the set. A lot of lights and fog machines.
Part of it is rehearsal, where it's like the fog machines and this dancing. Then every now and then there's like fire and smoke, and like you said, the welder. And you're like, what is this show about? You forget that it's Satan's Alley. And so
I forgot it was a show about John Travolta in hell. I'm still not sure.
I'm still not sure if she's the devil or he is, or who's fighting for what, or
don't know. It doesn't matter.
I wish the director explained it more.
It's just a spectacle. I feel like that's all it is. Like, that's just a bunch of people walking out going, can you believe what we just watched?
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but it was crazy, right?
It was they were all over the place. A lot of fog.
So now it is showtime.
Here we go.
The director again comes in and gives him a nice piece of advice. Like, the director's like, don't dance for the audience. Dance for you. And he's even like, listen, the show will work itself out. It'll be fine. Just dance for you, which I thought was really nice. Like a genuine bit of encouragement, not like him being like, you better not fuck this up, John Travolta.
Right. Yeah.
I have so much invested in this, and I took a chance on you. No, he's like, dude, it'll be fine. We have this all figured out. Just do what you do.
Yeah.
His mom, we talked about earlier how his mom's bragging to a bunch of extras at the audience.
But she's ready. She's practically there with a big thing of popcorn, ready to watch her son.
She is. Again, we talked about it. This is a black tie affair for some reason.
Yeah.
And his mom's in like a purple dress or something, like practically a nightgown. I don't know. At one point, every now and then they pan back and they show the entire audience. There's like hundreds of thousands of people here.
It's a big crowd. It's a big, well-dressed crowd for this. Yeah.
This is where in my notes I wrote, this show might be the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
It's
because I don't know what I'm watching. And like you had said earlier, I think we watched the whole show. I think it's the whole show.
I think we see the whole show. I wrote down this was $26 because that's how much he tells his mom he had to pay for her ticket. Because we do get to see, like you said, the whole show.
$26 in 1983 money? What's that, like $150 I'll bet now?
I think if you did that math right, I'll say yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
They do break down. We get to see the whole show, so we get to see, like, there's an Act 1, there's an Act 2. The Act 2 is, the Act 2 is weird. That's where it's slow-mo, and they're in that purple trippy lighting. And this is when he emerges in the lion's cloth.
I gotta tell you, when Act 2 ended, I was kind of like, oh, wow, okay, show's over. When I found out there was an Act 3, I almost fell out of my chair. I could not believe that there was
You're like,
more
there's more?
to this.
In Act 1 is when she scratches him, right? Because he
Yes.
kisses her at the end, and then she scratches his eye. But then even later, again, these people are so moody. She apologizes for scratching his eye, and his eye is still bloody, even though he went backstage and wiped it. And
So bloody. So, I mean, I don't know how much skin she got under those nails, but it must have been a ton. But yeah, I don't think we should gloss over that. At the end of Act 1, he like dips her or whatever. And then he kisses her, and the audience erupts. She scratches his face. He recoils.
Even the director is like, you can't do that. Yeah.
The audience is losing their mind. They run off stage. Jackie is so happy.
Oh, again, Jackie.
She's so happy. She's like, that was so great. No, you were wonderful. That was great. Also, why did you kiss her there?
Yeah,
and he does not have a response for her or anything.
No. He's like, it didn't mean anything. And then he kisses Jackie like half-ass and is like, this.
And the director's even like, what are you doing? Work out your personal shit on your own time. Do not do that on stage, you idiot.
But he don't care.
Oh my God. It is crazy. I kept writing. I think I wrote it twice. I wrote like a whole paragraph about this show. And I see twice I wrote, wait, the show's not over yet.
No, there's more. Well, then there's the S&M dance scene.
Yep. Oh my God, the S&M
Travolta
dance scene.
getting
when
whipped.
I saw a guy like just walking down the steps backstage in like one of those leather harnesses, I was what show is this guy?
Where are we now? No, it's part of this Satan's Alley.
Yeah.
This is when Travolta gets whipped and tied up, tossed away to the... he tosses away the other dancers.
Yes.
This is when he spins her out of control. It's kind of great, though, when he like pulls her by the hands and just spins her round and round. She's like, what are you doing?
It's like Travolta decides to make this his own show. He decides to make basically the star of the show so dizzy that she can't do anything. So now it's just the Travolta show. And like you said, he's up there tapping around and sweating. And none of the supporting dancers know what to do. Everyone's just kind of laying down or standing around watching
Jackie's
him.
smiling. Jackie's just smiling. She's so proud. And I love it. His mom's like, where did he learn how to do this?
Yeah. What did you think he was doing? Did you think he was operating the lights? Did you think that's what you were here to see?
Yeah, but he leaps and dances all across that stage.
He makes it his own show at the end. Suddenly something starts to rise out of the stage.
Emerges,
he realizes that he's in a show, jumps onto it, makes Laura come up. They're yelling. Like, they're all yelling at each other on this stage.
Go up. Yeah.
There's no I'm assuming no dialogue. This isn't a play or even a musical. You're not supposed to yell and scream at each other, but that's what they're doing. She jumps up on his arms, possibly. We're not sure. We don't see it.
Right.
And that's it. Like, the show ends with a bunch of nonsense that he ad-libbed, and everybody loves it.
The crowd goes wild. They all love it. And he, like you said, our ending is not with him celebrating with the cast or where we find out that, you know, he and Jackie walk off together, or rather even he and Laura are really in on, you know.
No.
It's just him. He said, where do I want to do now? I want to strut.
Yeah.
And there he goes.
A ridiculous ending. Because first of all, Jackie runs up and because he's leaving, she's like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "If I stay here, I'm just going to explode." And they kiss, but I think he's just doing this to make Laura jealous because he even opens his eyes while they're kissing and looks at Laura like, "You see this? You see what's going on here?" And she even gives him like a sly look, like, "You got me this time, but guess what? There's another show tomorrow night, buddy. Like, we'll figure this out."
Right. We got to do this whole run. Right.
And you're right. Then he's like, "Fuck everybody. I'm the greatest person ever. I'm going to walk around New York." And I think this is how the first one ends, with it like a freeze frame and then he fades out. And it's
there
just
you go.
the city.
And that's it.
I said it before. It just feels like a movie that is fighting. It's like the 70s fighting the 80s in this movie. And I don't know who wins in the end. Because this show feels like an 80s show. Like, whatever they're doing.
Oh, yeah,
their
their dance show, yeah.
Yeah.
Feels very 80s, I agree.
Yeah, the aggressive eye makeup feels very 80s, but his white suit and the song at the end, it just screams 70s, and the director's beard.
It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of juxtaposition here. And you, birthday pick, happy birthday
I didn't
pick.
like this. I didn't hate it. It's not something that I would hate or say that you shouldn't watch, because if any of what we talked about piqued your interest, if you just want to see John Travolta blinking those eyes and sweating all over the place,
go for it.
Get it. Go for it. You could watch worse things out there. It wasn't for me, but I could see this being almost like a Xanadu, where I look back fondly and I'm like, remember we watched John Travolta?
I did love that a little, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to say meh.
Meh. Yeah, I'm going to agree with your meh. I'm not going to say that it was terrible, that I couldn't get through it. It moved pretty fast, except for, like you said, the last 20 minutes. I'm like, this whole thing is the show. And some of the dancing, even though I appreciate the slow-mo because I got to see the dancing really tight on, I didn't need it. It was a lot. And
it's unnecessarily long.
And I didn't like the way he was wishy-washy with his ladies. You know, I wanted a little more firmness from them. Now seeing it from your light and seeing it from a different way, even though she was bitchy in the movie, I do like how Laura kind of stood up for, more so obviously than Jackie did. But yeah, I didn't love it.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, because I'm like, how am I supposed to feel about this character? Because I don't feel good about this character, but I think I'm supposed to. Like, I think I'm supposed to be rooting for Tony. Yeah. But if you're supposed to be rooting for Tony, why have him do most of what he's doing in this movie?
I know. Why make him make some of these choices over and over again?
It does not make him a likable character. And I thought that was the point of the original film, is that he's not a likable character because he's surrounded by a bunch of other, goons that are just like him, that are very self-centered and childish. He was a lot younger in that. And I'm like, well, wait, clearly he didn't learn anything. And I thought that's what happened at the end of the first movie.
No, he's still stuck in his little ways.
Well, do you have a recommendation?
I do. So I'm going to recommend one of my favorite movies.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And only because it's similar in the sense that she was a New Yorker and barking in Broadway. But it's Barbra Streisand in 1968's Funny Girl.
Oh, okay.
Where she plays Fanny Bryce. Yes.
I don't see what any of this movie has to do with the Hug-a-Bunch movie, but okay.
Oh. No magical mirrors in this one. Yeah.
I have to say I've never seen that movie.
Oh, it's good. I loved it. And that one, too, had a sequel, Funny Lady, that I don't think was quite Funny Girl.
Because she grew up?
Yeah, and she's divorced. And
Funny young woman. funny middle-aged.
Yes, yes. But James Caan is in Funny Lady.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But anyway,
that's not enough to make me want to see
Okay,
it.
fair enough.
But Funny Girl, maybe I will check it out. Like it is one of those where I thought it was like, is it like a straight musical or?
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. Well, no, there's some. It's not straight musical where they sing everything because she does have some.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's like
Yeah.
Mary Poppins. Sorry, that's my only frame of reference.
Okay. Yeah, we'll say yeah.
All right. If it's shorter than Mary Poppins, I'll watch it.
I think you would enjoy it, and it's a fun Barbara Streisand piece.
All right. I don't
Although I'm
mind.
still thinking of making us watch Yentl for our Barbara Streisand 80s. Hey, so what's your recommendation?
My recommendation is a movie starring Frank Stallone.
Oh.
It's a movie. It's called 10 Little Indians. It is an
Okay.
80s movie, and it's based on an Agatha Christie novel. Her novel's called And Then There Were None. I remember watching it as a kid. My mom rented it for me, and I really, really loved it. It's these 10 people that go to like a palatial estate. They're just invited there. They don't know each other. It's very much like Clue. Like they're all invited, and we
Okay.
never quite meet the host. But they're all invited because they've done horrible things. Like they've either killed somebody or were responsible for somebody's death or negligent or whatever. And they all start dying one by one. And Frank Stallone is in it. It's probably not the best version of the movie. There were 10 different adaptations of this.
Oh.
But I remember as a kid really liking it. And when I saw Frank Stallone in this, I went, I think he was in
That's
that
one of my
movie.
little
And he
Indians.
was.
All
That's
right.
that's
all
my
right.
favorite little Indian. Yeah, so that is my recommendation.
All right. Good
All right.
good one. Tying in the Frank there.
Yeah. So, folks, if you thought, hey, guess what? It's September's almost over. How much longer can they go with this summer of sequels?
How many sequels do they
Guess
have?
what?
It's like the Indian summer
Yeah.
of sequels. Yeah.
We're going to keep it going, first of all, through October. But next, this is our last sequel before we cap it off with horror sequels. So we're going to visit a franchise that we have already visited. We haven't seen the first movie, but we watched the fourth movie. And now we're going to watch the second movie. So we are going to watch Star Trek II,
Yes.
The Wrath of Khan. That will be our next sequel. I don't
know how I feel yet.
I don't think it has anything to do with whales. I hope it
All right.
has. I hope the mom from Seventh Heaven isn't in this.
We don't know. We'll find out.
I hope they don't go to Earth. Like, I hope it's just space stuff or whatever.
Space. Well, I think if Khan's having his wrath, it's probably done,
In the stars.
Yeah, up in the galaxy, wherever that happens.
Yeah, so there are so many, honestly, there's so many Star Trek movies we could watch in the 80s. So we're slowly chipping away, and
Getting there.
possibly we'll get through all of them. I don't think we could do the first one. I think that was the 70s. I could be
Okay.
wrong, though. But anyway, that's what we're going to be doing. That's in 2 weeks' time. So get ready.
I don't believe this.
Oh, no
Crazy.
way. He's
Yeah.
got like the opposite of a foot fetish.
Yeah, right. It is, yes.